If you think the car market was bad in 2025, you need to see what's coming in 2026. Because the next crash won't start with Tesla or EVs or some viral headline. It'll start in the most hated place in America, the dealership. Right now, dealers are staring at the same nightmare from two directions. On one side, new cars are still too expensive for regular people. On the other side, their lots are filling up, their loans are getting riskier, and the cost to hold inventory is getting brutal. And when a dealership gets desperate, it doesn't politely lower prices. It starts dumping cars, it starts pushing predatory financing, it starts playing games with add-ons and markups, and eventually it cracks. This is why the car market can't stay like this forever. People love to argue about whether prices will ever go back down. That's the wrong question. The real question is, how long can the dealership model survive when it's built on debt, deception, and a monthly payment people can't afford? Because the dirty secret is this: most dealerships are not really in the car business, they're in the monthly payment business. When you walk into a dealership, the first thing they try to control is not the price of the car, it's your focus. They don't want you thinking about the total cost, they want you thinking about the payment. What can you afford per month? That's the trap. Once they lock you into a monthly number, the rest is just manipulation. They can stretch the loan longer. They can slide the interest rate up. They can add a warranty. They can bundle fees. They can sneak in paint protection. They can inflate a trade-in. They can bury negative equity. They can do all of it while keeping the payment close enough that you don't walk out. And this matters because in 2026, that payment game is about to collide with reality. Let's talk about what the market looks like underneath the drama. The used market is already showing stress because it's the first place regular people run when new cars get too expensive. Cox Automotive reported that by November 2025, used vehicle inventory was up to about 2.31 million units, a new high for 2025, and used supply rose to about 50 days. They also pegged the average used listing price around $25,730. That tells you something important. When inventory rises and supply loosens, the market stops acting like a shortage market. And shortage markets are what allowed all the nonsense from the last few years. Markups, market adjustments, forced add-ons, take it or leave it deals. That only works when the dealer can say, fine, someone else will buy it tomorrow. When that line stops working, prices start breaking. Now zoom into the thing everyone ignores. Dealers don't want cars sitting on the lot because cars aren't assets to them. Cars are liabilities. A dealership doesn't usually buy hundreds of cars with cash and calmly wait for the perfect customer. They finance inventory, they pay to hold it, they have floor plan costs, which is basically interest on the cars sitting there. So when rates are high, it's not just consumers getting crushed. Dealers get crushed too. Every extra week a car sits is money leaking out of the building. That's why high inventory is not a neutral thing. It's pressure, and pressure makes people do stupid things. So here's the setup for 2026. If the 2025 models don't move fast enough, the 2026 models arrive anyway. The lot gets crowded, the dealer's carrying costs rise, the manufacturer wants the next orders, the dealer wants cash flow, and suddenly that dealership is staring at a simple choice. Either they cut prices and take a hit, or they keep prices high and watch the cars rot on the lot while the interest meter runs. Guess what happens when thousands of dealers all face that choice at the same time? They cut. And when dealers cut, it doesn't look like one clean sticker price drop. It looks like chaos, a flood of incentives. Discounts that suddenly appear, financing gimmicks, lease specials, trade-in games. It becomes a race to move metal, not a proud showroom experience. This is why people who think cars will never be cheap again are missing the cycle. The car market doesn't stay expensive forever. It swings. It swings based on supply and credit and consumer pain. And in 2026, all three are lining up in a way that can force a correction. Now let's talk about the reason viewers will care. Not dealers, not automakers, regular people. The average person didn't choose to hate dealerships, they learned to hate them because dealerships mastered a business strategy that feels like robbery while still being legal. They separate the price from the reality. They advertise one number to get you in the door. Then they rebuild the deal in the back room. They use markups. They use required packages. They use nonsense add-ons with fake value. They use dock fees. They use protection plans. They use extended warranties. They use gap insurance. They use nitrogen tires. They'll sell you a key fob replacement plan like you're buying a second mortgage. And then, the most important trick of all, they weaponize financing because the dealership can profit even when the car itself isn't a great deal. This is the part most people don't understand. The financing office is not a service, it's a profit engine. If you're a buyer with great credit, they try to sell you expensive add-ons and warranties. If you're a buyer with average credit, they try to stretch the loan term so the payment looks manageable. And if you're a buyer with bad credit, they turn the deal into a high-interest trap that can follow you for years. This is where the subprime auto apocalypse idea comes from. Not because every loan is subprime, because the system has been quietly normalizing terrible debt. Longer loan terms became common. Bigger balances became normal. Rolling old debt into new cars became routine. People started trading in vehicles while still upside down, then burying that negative equity into the next loan. That's not a healthy market. That's a market surviving on denial. And the scary part is that this doesn't break immediately. It breaks when something small changes. A rate goes up, a job gets cut, insurance spikes, a repair hits, rent rises. Suddenly, the payment that barely worked stops working. Then delinquencies rise, repossessions rise, lenders tighten, approvals drop, and the entire dealership model, which depends on pushing monthly payments through approvals, starts choking. When credit tightens, the car market doesn't just slow down, it slams. So if you want a clean way to explain the 2026 danger, it's this. The car market is not just prices, it's a chain. Dealers need inventory to move, buyers need loans to buy, lenders need people to pay, and the system needs trust. In 2025, the chain is already stretched. Prices stayed high longer than buyers could tolerate. Monthly payments became a lifestyle tax, and dealers tried to compensate by squeezing harder, not by adapting. That's the classic late cycle behavior. Instead of lowering prices, the system tries to extract more from each buyer. More fees, more add-ons, higher rates, longer terms, bigger down payments, more pressure. That works until it doesn't. Now let's talk about why 2026 is the year this gets interesting. Because 2026 is when multiple forms of pressure hit at once. First pressure is inventory pressure. When supply loosens, the dealer loses leverage. The moment the buyer has options, the dealer can't act like a gatekeeper anymore. They can't play the someone else will buy it game. And when that leverage disappears, price starts falling toward reality. Second pressure is affordability pressure. Even people who can afford a car emotionally hate the deal. They feel exploited. They feel like the car isn't worth it. They feel like they're being played. That matters because consumer behavior isn't just math, it's resentment. When a market makes buyers feel stupid, buyers wait. They delay. They keep their old car longer. They repair instead of replace. They do anything to avoid being the sucker. Third pressure is loan pressure. If approvals tighten even slightly, dealerships lose their ability to convert foot traffic into contracts. That is deadly. Because a dealership doesn't survive on interest, it survives on deals closing. Fourth pressure is the trade-in illusion breaking. For years, people survived high prices by leaning on trade-in value. It's expensive, but my trade is worth a lot. That's fine until used prices fall. When used values drop, the trade-in cushion shrinks. Negative equity becomes visible. Buyers realize they can't escape their last bad deal by rolling into a new one. That's when the market freezes. And once it freezes, the panic discounts start. The collapse is the moment dealerships can't keep extracting markups, fees, and inflated financing terms because buyers stop playing and lenders stop approving. And when that happens, prices don't gently drift down, they drop in pockets, fast, starting with the exact models dealers can't move. You'll see it first in the boring cars, the not special trims, the oversupplied crossovers, the base models that sit, the cars that were priced like luxury but aren't luxury. Then you'll see it in the used market because used is where desperation goes. Dealers will dump used inventory to free up cash. That pushes prices down. Then trade-in values fall. Then new buyers lose leverage. Then the whole system tightens. That's the snowball. You as the buyer are walking into a system designed to make you overpay. They want you to focus on monthly payment, not total cost. They want you to fall in love with the car before you see the final numbers. They want you tired. They want you emotionally committed. They want you to negotiate in the wrong order. They want you to treat fees like normal. They want you to accept add-ons like just how it is. And they want you to think your only way out is financing. So if 2026 really brings a correction, what's the opportunity? The opportunity is that desperation flips power back to the buyer. When dealers are pressured, they stop acting like villains because they want to. They act like villains because they have to. And when they can't, they start negotiating like normal businesses again. Watch inventory, watch incentives, watch approval tightness, and never shop by payment. Shop by total price first, then financing, then add-ons last, and ideally never. Because the moment you negotiate payment, the dealer controls the chessboard. Everyone wants to blame one villain: dealers, automakers, Wall Street, lenders. But the truth is uglier. The system worked because people had no choice. Modern life requires cars in most of America. Public transit is weak, cities are spread out, work commutes are long. So the average person is trapped in a market where they need a vehicle, and the gatekeepers know it. That's why resentment is so high. It's not a luxury purchase, it's survival. And when a survival market gets too greedy, it triggers backlash. Buyers delay, politicians investigate, regulators threaten rules, lenders tighten, inventories rise, prices crack. That's how a collapse happens, not overnight, but suddenly enough that anyone who bought at the peak feels sick. If inventory stays elevated and affordability stays broken, 2026 is where dealers will be forced to compete again. That competition looks like discounts, incentives, and falling used values, which means the market price level can reset downward, especially in the first half of the year when dealers are trying to clear space and manufacturers are trying to push volume. It won't hit every car equally. Some models will still hold, some segments will stay tight, but the era of pay whatever we say and be grateful is already weakening. You can see the early signs in supply loosening and inventory rising in parts of the used market. And if credit tightens while supply loosens, that's the exact combination that forces sellers to blink. That's the real story. The car market doesn't collapse because people stop wanting cars. It collapses because the dealership model stops being able to extract unlimited money from people who can't afford it. And if you're watching this before you sign a lease or take out a loan or trade in a car you're still upside down on, remember this: the most expensive car is the one you buy right before the market is forced to compete again. So if you want the smartest move in 2026, it's patience. Let the lots fill, let the incentives rise, let the desperation spread, let the villains start offering deals they swore were impossible. Because the moment a dealer goes from no negotiations to what can we do to earn your business, you'll know the collapse has already started. And when that happens, you don't chase the deal, you make them chase you.